Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Aaron here. I want to help you today kind of understand in the beginning of playing your instrument, of playing your guitar, how should you hold the guitar? Where should your hands go? Is there a right or wrong way to pick up this instrument and start getting at learning and start getting at playing? So let's just dive in. So when learning to play the guitar, proper posture is so important. You will never be able to achieve quality tone and good rhythm if your posture is not proper. So it's important that when you're learning to play the guitar, that you remember to sit up straight, and you're not slouched over, resting your arms on your legs, but you want to sit up straight. And this arm here, the bend at your elbow, is going to sit somewhere around in here. What you don't want to strum up here, and you also don't want to strum too far back here. There's a massive tonal difference. Listen, thin and harsh, and kind of floppy, and you hear the sound a lot coming off the fretboard. But here, you get the full tone of that guitar. So, everybody's built a little bit different, but just get your pick somewhere in the middle of the sound hole, and you'll be good to go. Now, this hand here, again, we don't want to be leaning down, and you don't want to be doing this, okay? This hand posture here is what's going to determine whether all of these strings are going to resonate the way that they should. Okay, so I'm going to play just a simple little G chord here, and then we're going to put, let's see if I can get my thumb in the picture here, our thumb right back here like this, and if you can kind of see that this is nice and open right in here, okay? You can see it there as well. It's nice and open between my hand and the fretboard. That means all my strings are gonna sound nice and open. A little out of tune, but they sound nice and open. Okay, now the difference here is, now listen, it's because I've laid my fingers down. So we got to keep that nice and open. Now the exception to this rule is when you're playing chords like D over F sharp, which we would call a 1/3. And you can still do that this way, but that's very difficult. So there are times when we can do this and get away with it, but 99% of the time your thumb needs to be sitting on the back of that there. Okay? Now, let's talk about strumming, okay? I've got another video on this, but I'll cover this here as well. When you come down to strum, you're going to come down, and then you're going to give a little flick of the wrist, and then you're going to follow through, okay? You'll notice here on my sound hole, right, it's all chewed up right in here. I've had this guitar for 20 plus years, and I play it all the time, and this is not a museum piece. This is my workhorse guitar. So I'm not really worried about that. As you follow through, you may hit that, and I've had to replace this pick guard before, just because it gets worn out and gets to looking ugly. But you want to get good tone, so that's going to come through a good flick of the wrist and proper follow through. So in slow motion, I'm coming down and I follow through, and then when I come back up, I'm not catching all 6 strings. Okay, I've already done that. I'm just going to catch the last few. Let's get that in tune. That's driving me nuts. Okay, so I come down, I follow through, I flip the wrist, I follow through, and then I come back up and I catch the last few. See how that works there? Flick the wrist and follow through. What happens if you don't flick the wrist? Well, you're going to sound a little bit rigid. And what happens if you don't follow through is you're going to get a non-powerful, a weak sounding strum. So to get that power and to get that juice and the oomph in your strumming and in your playing, flick the wrist and follow through. Okay? And why do we catch just the last few on the way up? It's because we don't want a muddy strum. Here's when you strum all 6 going down and up. Okay, there's a difference between that and okay. One gives room for the other instruments in the band and for your voice, and the other just sounds like you're wailing on your instrument. And so flick of the wrist, follow through, coming back up, hit the last 3 strings, last 2 or 3 strings on that up, and that'll clean up your mix, and it's just a good sound. So hopefully that helps.